Shalom Akim, Yabashima Shah Baraktham. This is Brother Nasher with DC Camp with another quick lesson just to keep, the brothers in Israel, Yakim in Israel, updated as per whatever is going on. So, brothers making videos, lessons as per censorship, but, it's already, it's part of our history, it's part of the history of the nation of Israel, whether we're in captivity, or whether we among our own people. It's always been a issue that rose up. We had a hard time dealing with our own people. They never wanted to hear the words of the Most High. They give the prophets a hard time. Even in the captivities, the foreign lands, when Israel's also under occupation by the heathen, we still have to deal with it among them. Daniel dealt with it, Jeremiah dealt with it. The apostles dealt with it, even Yahushua dealt with it, so it should be nothing new. Folks shouldn't be losing their head over the topic, but it's prophecy, it gotta come to pass. So let me just start with this quick precept. So this is Isaiah chapter 30, and start with verse 8. Now go write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever, that this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the word of Yahweh Shema Shai, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. Get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore, thus said the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. So there's always a judgment, for folks always want to try to censor the prophets of the Lord. They always had a terrible ending, So it's a serious thing, man, to deal with. Because the Most High doesn't take things like this very lightly. So let me just pull up quick notes. What's about censor? I just want to pull it up from dictionary.com. So here it says censor. Okay, so it's an official who examines books, plays, news reports, motion pictures, radio, television programs, letters, cablegrams, etc., for the purpose of suppressing parts objectionable on moral, political, military, or other grounds. And 2 says that any person who supervises the manner or morality of others. So, the prophets, and that was their job, the prophets, the king and his officers, that was their job, to make sure the nation was on point. That was for righteousness' sake. Scripture talks about the prudent man looketh well to his going. So that was the job of the prudent. But now that we're in the dispensation of the unrighteous, folks are going to complain. So let me see if there's any more for me to read down there. Verse 3 says, line 3 says, an adverse critic, fault finder. Alright, so that's in a negative sense. Then in number 4 says, in the ancient Roman public, either of 2 officials who kept the register or census of the citizens, awarded public contracts and supervised manners and morals. Alright, then 5 says in early Freudian dream theory, a force that represses ideas, impulses, and feelings and prevents them from entering consciousness in their original undisguised forms. So that's the issue, when it comes to censorship. You have censorship that could be for positive outcomes, and you have the one for negative, to suppress the truth. So that was the time we're living in, man, because Yabashima Shawty talked about, the elect getting persecuted for speaking his words in sincerity and in truth, being brought before the judges. If you read John the 10th chapter. Alright, let me get another. Let me see, I go to etymology online. So it says it's a Roman magistrate who took censuses oversaw public morals. And it says it's a Latin word censere, to appraise, to value, to judge. So the righteous censors of the world is the elect of the nation of Israel. You're the one that judge the matter and give the appropriate judgment. That's the office that Yahweh Shemash has put us in. But since we're under the dominion of the Edomites, you cannot do it unrighteousness. That's why the world is, going to hell in a handbasket. So much tumult and chaos everywhere. Yep. And then you have the agenda for, the mark of the beast, martial law, depopulation. So that's just part of prophecy. So I'll go back to the Blue Bible. So just keep it simple. I won't dwell too much on those articles. So I'll go ahead and read Acts. Just start with verse 4. Chapter 4. And I'll read from verse 15 to 21. Okay, so it says, but when they had commanded them to go aside out of the council, they conferred among themselves, saying, what shall we do to these men? For that indeed a notable miracle had been done by them is manifest to all them that dwell in Jerusalem, and we cannot deny it, but that it spread no further among the people. Let us straightly threaten them, that they speak henceforth to no man in this name. That's the name of Yahushua. So I'll scroll back up and I read verse 12. It says, neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. So it's a beautiful thing to know that the name of Yahushua is that key to salvation. You have IUIC giving, folks a hard time, not trying to, give Yahushua his due credit, for acknowledging Yahushua as a savior of Israel under his proper name. It's a big problem. So I go to verse 18. And they called them and commanded them not to speak at all, nor teach in the name of Yahushua. Okay. But Peter and John answered and said unto them, whether it be right in the sight of Yahweh to hearken unto you more than Yahweh, judge ye. For we cannot but speak the things which we have seen and heard. So when they had further threatened them, they let them go, finding nothing how they might punish them. How they might punish them, because of the people. For all men glorify Yahweh Hashem Shai for that which was done. So folks are gonna be grateful that they're getting the true knowledge of the scriptures. The wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is being spread forward to the four corners of the earth. The nation of Israel, the elect is learning, even the heathen and getting this knowledge too. So that's a good thing on both sides. The covering is being taken away. That's our job as men of the Lord, to make sure we cast down all imaginations with the scriptures of Yahweh Shem Shai. And then I'll just go quickly to let me try the book of Daniel. Let's see, Daniel chapter 6, and the cards. All right, verse 3, Daniel 6 and 3. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. So that's the kind of spirit that we have in us, the spirit of the Israelite, spirit of the elect. Lord willing, we have that number. If you look at Romans 8 and 16, I'll just read it real quick from the Holy Scriptures. Yep, it's only once in a while, so it's every now and then. It's always important, you gotta balance it out. So this is Romans 8 and 16. The Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh Shem Shai. So that excellent spirit is what dwells in the elect. Then verse 4 says the presidents and the princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. So that's time we're living in, man. Folks always want to find stumbling blocks, digging up dirt on brothers, trying to shut down brothers' professions and businesses, trying to stymie brothers' progress. The Most High is not going to have that. So verse 5 says, Then said these men, We shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his power. So, the word of Yahweh Shem Shai is a two-edged sword. Brothers just got to be careful on how you handle it, man. So folks always want to use the word of Yahweh Shem Shai against us, but it's never going to happen because it's our lot, Scripture talks about if Yahweh Shai be for us, Yahweh Shem Shai be for us, who can be against us? Then verse 6 says, Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute, and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any power or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. So those are, the folks that get on the bandwagon, always trying to be on the good side of the king so they could get crumbs, because jealousy and envy is rampant, in the kingdom of Esau, man. In fact, the whole world, folks just envy for, petty reasons, and this is verse 8. Now, O king, establish a decree and sign the writing, that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which alter it not. So that's how folks are, man. They always want to deceive folks in high authority to get an advantage, but they can't deceive the Most High. You know, there's no enchantment against Yahbashim Shai and his elect in the nation of Israel. Then verse 9 says, wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber, and and, and his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem. Yeah, that's a righteous act he did right there. He kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his power as he did aforetime. So whether we in captivity or not, it's always a right just and righteous thing. Just still the Most High's program. Yep. So that's about it. So I'm just gonna you know just focus on the point. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his power. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Has not hast thou not signed the decree that every man shall ask a petition of that every man that shall ask a petition of any power or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altered not. So that's how folks are going to be in these last days, man. In Babylon, they're going to be going with the law, where I'm just doing my job. Just got to enforce the law. But at the end of the day, man, it's the Most High that's going to deliver us from all this madness. But if you read all the way down, it tells, how Daniel was cast in the den of lions and it was delivered. You know, the angels shut the mouths of the lions. It was just it's a spiritual journey. That's all we have to do. Just stay in the spirit. And then look at Revelation chapter 12. Verse 9. Then it says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our power, and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. So all this collaboration between law enforcement and the ADL, and all these internet companies and YouTube and media companies trying to choke out the truth. It's not gonna come to a positive ending for them, because the Most High is gonna crush them. Yeah, because it's the Most High's work. Nobody can instruct the Most High how his program got to go. The Most High is in charge of the situation. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto death. So that's the elect. You just got to go hard. There's no need to be afraid or careless, or intimidated, because you're doing the work of Yahweh Shem Shai. Scripture talks about he that's in you that's greater than he that's of the world. So you just gotta be spiritual. You just let the Most High handle the situation. You're not the author of this program. You just gotta stick with what the Most High has put before us in the scriptures. If you also read Jeremiah the 36th chapter, it talks about how Jeremiah got thrown in a dungeon, for prophesying. Folks want to burn the scrolls, burn the letter, mean, you could read it in your own time. Your own time, Lord willing. Yeah. So if you start reading, if you read the whole chapter, get an idea of censorship. In a negative sense. But we as the men of the Lord, we got to censor ourselves in righteousness. But this world, man, is full of madness. If you read that Romans, the first chapter, start reading from the 20 something verse. Let's see. Yeah, from verse 28. Actually, if you start reading from 22, says Romans 1:22, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Yep, so that's what the world has turned into, man. They're just a dominion of fools that think they could overcome Yahbashim Shai. So, I'll get about one more precept. Let's see, get the book of Acts. Yeah, because, the apostles had a hard time, doing the work because, so it's jealousy, man. So I look at Acts chapter 20, Acts chapter 5, verse 25. So it says, Then came one and told him, saying, Behold, the men whom ye put in prison are standing in the temple and teaching the people. So brothers got to catch hell, you got to get thrown in jail for doing the work of Yahbashim Shai. You still got to come out and do the work regardless of how you feel. We have an unction to finish this work. Till Shai brings salvation. Verse 26, Then went the captain with the officers and brought them without violence, for they feared the people, lest they should have been stoned. Yep, so folks back then we're not, folks you play around with, the strong, mentally strong, some were weak, for unrighteousness' sake, but the elect, they stayed the course. And when they had brought them, they set them before the council, and the high priest asked them, saying, Did we not straitly command you that you should not teach in his name? And behold, ye have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine, and intend to bring this man's blood upon us. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, We ought to obey Yahbashim Shai rather than men. So that's what it boils down to, man. Brothers just gotta live their lives according to Acts 5, verse 29. We ought to obey Yahbashim Shai rather than men. Whether martial law or concentration camps, economic collapses, we just stick with the scriptures. There should be no shame, for doing this work. This is your heritage, so you just gotta stick with it. Another account in the book of Acts, go to verse chapter 13. Yeah, because it's crazy that if Yahushua says your own enemies, your own foes will be those of your own household. That's exactly what the prophets and disciples dealt with. So this is Acts chapter 13 and verse 44. And the next Sabbath day came almost the whole city together to hear the word of Yahbashim Shai. But when the Jews saw the multitudes, they were filled with envy and spake against those things which are spoken by Paul, contradicting and blaspheming. So that's how folks always trying to muscle the prophets, man. Always trying to interfere with the work of Yahbashim Shai, because Paul already got that calling. He was in the same predicament. He was hunting down Jake, the disciples of Yahushua, until Yahushua puts him in check, to let him know, hey, he's going about things the wrong way, and this is what he needs to do. Then verse 46 says, Then Paul and Barnabas waxed bold and said, It was necessary that the word of Yahbashim Shai should first have been spoken to you, but seeing you put it from you, and judge yourselves unworthy of everlasting life, lo, we turn to the Gentiles. Yep. And then verse 47 says, For so how the Lord commanded us, saying, I have set thee to be a light to the Gentiles, that thou shouldest be for salvation unto the ends of the earth. When the Gentiles heard this, they were glad and glorified the word of the Lord, and as many as were ordained to eternal life believed. So that's what's going to come out of this episode of censorship, man, that we keep on hearing about on YouTube. Videos getting deleted, you know, kind of channels getting blocked and cancelled, because Edomites, man, they're angry, they're frustrated, they're upset that their kingdom is coming to an end. The Amalekite, this so-called Jew, claims that he's a child of the Most High, but his actions is totally opposite. If you're down with the Most High, I mean, you gotta praise His works. You know, you claim you say the Israelites. Read the scriptures according to what was written in it. That the nation of Israel is above all nations on the face of the earth. They don't say it, like just push that line. But hey, why be ashamed of the precepts? So they just let you know that they're not the children of the nation of Israel. They just like to take on that label, but in actuality they're just pissed off, man, that they're Edomites, and they will do everything in their power to make Jacob fall. Yep. And that's what it boils down to, man. It's just a spirit of envy. It's very heavy upon these Edomites, man. They can't stand to see Jake wake up and make the right decisions to keep, the faith in Yahweh Shema Shai. To understand that the law, is very important. You have to understand it, even though you cannot keep it perfectly. The ones you could do righteously, you keep. The ones that will keep you from falling into, the hands of the enemy. That's why Yahweh Shai always told us, gotta be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, because it's a crazy society, man. Folks just go by how they feel rather than the facts that's present before them, you know. And it's a beautiful thing, man. The scripture talks about the Most High has care for His elect. The nation of Israel is the only nation He's dealing with. Every other nation could take a back seat. So it's a beautiful thing to understand the bitterness of this knowledge, you know, and then the sweetness that will come after in the kingdom. So that's about it. We just gotta learn to understand both sides. The sweetness and the bitterness of the scriptures. We gotta know how to put things in order. That's what it means to be a censor. But when folks want to stifle the truth from growing, you know, just like when you read the parable of the sower, it lets you know, man, that this world, this oikoumenic that's being dominated by the Edomites is going to pass away. We have no inheritance of it. Our inheritance is a spiritual inheritance, which is of the scriptures in Yahweh Shema Shah. So we just gotta, stay the course, stay faithful, stay humble, be diligent. This is the time of Jacob's trouble. That said, Yahweh Shema Shah Braktam to the hopeful and sincere elect, double honors to the elders and apostles of our great new stone. Shalom.